Out!
Oh, come on, Darren, that was in.
Negative, Bajo. My internal Hawkeye registered the ball 1.482 millimetres wide of the line.
Did you take into account the equatorial bulge affecting your measurements?
You cannot be serious. My measurements are infallible. Unlike some humans.
Tennis has had a long history in video games, all the way back to Pong. But the latest addition to the Topspin franchise is probably the most realistic tennis game ever developed.
Topspin 4 gives you one of the biggest rosters of players to choose from. From the current top pros like Roger Federer to old school legends like Bjorn Borg. The game options are pretty standard. There's exhibition mode for quick matches with the standard multiplayer options, and a career mode which allows you to create a player and develop them into a legend as you play through the various tournaments.
Topspin is all about timing and strategy. A quick tap is a control shot, and holding down the button gives more power but is less accurate. The game also gives you on-screen helpers to tell you where the ball is going to bounce, whether your timing is off, and how powerful your shot is.
It's tempting just to jump in and start playing, but I think it's much more worthwhile to go through all the training.
Badge, at first I got really frustrated. I couldn't get the timing right at all, and I found the movement of the players really sluggish. Sometimes I wanted the player to move one way and hit the ball the other, but my player just stood there and did nothing.
Aced. But you know, Hex, I think that actually makes the game more complex, like a real game of tennis. The game is pretty easy on normal, but once you ramp up the difficulty, you really have to develop a strategy to defeat your opponents. And there's enough depth in the controls for players to do that.
40 love.
But I think gamers that don't have the patience to go through the training before they play are going to get frustrated and bored easily.
Graphically, the real-life stadiums are spot on, and although it's disappointing not to have Wimbledon there, some of the more unconventional courts are pretty awesome. But how bad do the play models look, Hex?
Yeah, if you don't look too closely, they may look like their real-life counterparts, but during replays and pre-match animations, you get hit with both creepy and ugly. And that's really disappointing, considering the level of detail in other sports sims these days. I thought the soundscapes for the game were realistic. They even have the grunts and shrieks down. But I thought it lacked a punchy soundtrack for the menus and training.
I didn't really have a problem with that, Hex. For me, it was the lack of commentary. I think tennis games are the last sporting game just not to have any commentary, and that's a real shame.
There are heaps of unlockables, from different outfits for your pro players to different scoring modes. And you can customise your own player to your heart's content, from clothes, swing style, and even what temper you want them to have.
Yeah, and I think this is what makes Topspin 4 so rewarding in the long run. There's just so much to explore. If you find career mode a slog, go online. Got friends over? Play King of the Court party mode. Final thoughts?
Well, I understand they're going for realism above all, but I think for non-tennis fans, it's a little bit too complicated to get any real enjoyment out of it. So I'm giving it 7.5 out of 10 rubber chickens.
Look, I think it's one of the finest tennis games ever made. You know, besides some dodgy player models, there's enough here to keep you playing for a long time. So I'm giving it 9 out of 10 rubber chickens. Oh, what's he up to now?
Darren.
Did you know I have a sports matrix? I was Robot Athlete of the Year in Robot Secondary Academy. Oh, not quite that time.
Ow! Oh!
Oh dear. You're trying so hard, aren't you?
Seriously.
Game, set, match. Darren.